Test, 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 test. Entire test now, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Harris, as you can see. James Carroll. And today we're going to be looking at the new maps that are currently on the PTR. And I'm briefly just going to be looking at them and just having a look around. I'm not really going to focus on the gameplay of me and my friend. I just want to have a look around from a Protoss perspective, really. So let's load up this replay. I think I'll do about 2 or 3 today and then do the other 2 later on tomorrow, as I don't have that much time tonight. It's approaching 10 o'clock, so my girlfriend will be back from work pretty soon. And if anybody plays WoW, they should go and do some PvP if they're a hunter, spec marksman, because it's frigging ridiculous and we're going to get nerfed very, very soon. But nobody comes here to listen to about WoW stuff, because WoW is rubbish. And StarCraft 2 is where it's at. So, I can't remember the name of this map, but it will be very evident which one it is once it actually loads up. Hopefully it's going to load. Come on, load, 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 load. Maybe I'll do 2 if it's going to take this long to load. Come on, come on, come on. What did you do yesterday? I was just playing some StarCraft. You? Yeah, same. Okay, so this is the map. As you can see, it's very kind of deserty, and the first thing I noticed on this map is this interesting natural with these kind of 2 entrances here and this back rocks. I quite like this kind of natural placement. It's a big map, and most of the maps are pretty big that they've introduced on the PTR, and needless to say, I am in favour of these big maps because it really encourages more interesting play. That being said, though, these spawn locations are pretty close together, the vertical and horizontal spawn locations are quite close together on this map. It's just a case of having the if you spawn cross positions on this 4-player map, then you're going to be in good stead for a pretty good macro game, I reckon. We do have very kind of, as I say, this natural is very interesting. I quite like this natural as a Protoss player. You can kind of block this area off or this area off, and then have an interesting kind of little like force here. I would personally, if I was going to be expanding to this position, I would personally block here off and then have my army here and have a pylon here just scouting these destructible rocks. Very nice. So I could see in the future having some very nice 2-basing going on this map, especially since this natural is can be so well defended, considering what you can actually do with it. So we do have 2 golds in the middle, which are pretty much never going to be taken at the same time. So you're only ever going to have one person taking the gold. It would be very hard. It's very similar to the golds that are on Metalopolis, and it'd be very hard to hold it, say, against a Terran or anything like that, because they could just siege up and pound away, especially if they had the control of these watchtowers. It'd be very interesting to see some kind of things going on in here. This odd high ground, again, very nice for, like, if someone were to expand here, for Terrans to siege up on here, or even Colossi play going up and down these cliffs. If somebody had expanded to one of these positions, would be fantastic. In fact, I endorse that. Friggin' do that, because that's fantastic. That's a great idea. And again, destructible rocks into each of these naturals, which will make for easy defending of not only that base, but this base as well, depending on where you're actually going. So I feel that you've got pretty much 2 nice bases to take on this map, and the watchtowers are in interesting places, and these cliffs will make for some interesting gameplay across here if you do end up being against a Terran or maybe a Protoss with Colossi play. So just remember for the Colossi play and stuff like that. I'm trying to see, it would be nice to see some kind of like pylon down here maybe, and having that overlapping onto there, getting some vision and then warping some units up there. That would make for some interesting play as well. Probably down here would be best, as there is a bit close to the ramp and they may end up spotting that going up and down. And that's pretty much all I can see from a Protoss perspective. I'm trying to see everything else. I can't really see much. Some of the maps aren't actually, no, those were the GSL maps. Ignore me. Right, so that was this map, and I'll include the names in like a little annotation regardless. And let's move on to the next map. This might be a bit boring for some people, but I like to look at these maps from an analytical point of view. So let's load map number 2. And why does it keep downloading these content things? What the hell is going on? I want cool to realize that, again, yeah, this might be a little bit of aside from the normal kind of map analysis or whatever, but sorry, game analysis. But you know, I like to look at these maps, and I haven't really taken too much of an analytical view of them as of just yet. So again, it's very nice to kind of get a look at these things. So this map's got the standard. Oh god, it's got back rocks. Oh Christ Almighty! And you can't actually put any buildings in there. I don't think. Maybe you can fit one there or something, but certainly not along there. So you do have these back rocks into your base, although they are very, very far from your opponent. I imagine your opponent. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that on a 1v1 game of this map that you can't spawn in these positions, because that distance right there is so small. I bet it's like Shakura's Plateau spawning. We'll have to see though. I'm not 100% sure, of course. And interesting place for golds as well. So we obviously have our natural here, very wide open natural here. I'm really not liking the idea of that. I think if I was to take this natural, I would probably kind of make a little bit of a wall along here, but then again, my opponent could have used this shrubbery kind of thing and shoot those buildings, so really, really not a fan of this natural. But if I was to, I would kind of wall that off and wall off as much as possible, like here or along here, to create a bit of a choke going on. And then we do have a third base, which would be very contested for if you were going against a player on this side of the map in these spawning locations. And we do also have this nice little lap here that you could again throw down a pylon on and warp up into that area. But I'd be really interested to kind of see a lot of play of destroying the destructible rocks and kind of going into your opponent's back base. It would take a while, granted, since there are 2 pairs of destructible rocks, but hey, it doesn't matter too much. And one like niff that I have of Blizzard maps as of right now, they've always got these huge spaces where flyers can go and hide. I really don't like that. I'm pretty sure there wasn't that much on StarCraft 1, and I really don't understand why they keep doing that on StarCraft 2, because I think that's a tad imbalanced for people that do choose to go with flyers. And it's really annoying to have like just flyers stuck in the back of your base and just poking in as soon as you move out, and there's nothing you can do about it if you don't already have flyers. So really odd. I quite like this interesting layout of the watchtowers, although these two could be extremely easy to control by one player since they are so close to each other. Although that being said, unless you actually spawn cross positions, they're not really going to do that much. As you can see, this watchtower right here is only showing him up to here, and if you were to end up scooting around here, you won't actually see anything with those watchtowers. So oddly placed for positions spawning such as these, but other than that, it's alright really. It's fine, chill out. And yeah, that's pretty much what I can gather from this map. Big hole there. There's a big hole, yeah. So let's move on to map 3. This is actually taking a little bit less time than I imagined it would. I'm not going to do too much of an in-depth look at them. I just want to check them out from a little bit of a Protoss perspective. I'm pretty sure I've said that about 10 times, but hey, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. In other news, me and my girlfriend have started collecting Warhammer. Yes, it's terrible, isn't it? I'm collecting Chaos Warriors, and she's collecting Skaven. So we're on another huge map here, and cross-position spawning locations are ridiculously far away. Again, I will put the names of these maps in on the annotations, so I'm really sorry that I don't remember them. And Foggy doesn't like my mother, obviously. So we have, what do we have here? We have a natural, which is quite wide open. Destructible rocks there guarding this area of it. But ultimately, this is once again an extremely wide open natural. Attackable from lots of avenues, including massively wide open spaces for air flyers to come in. And not much chance to be able to defend that without a prior warning. So, again, not too big a fan of this natural. I am almost a bigger fan of this natural, actually, now that this expansion, now that I look at it. There's only this small area to defend, so technically, I suppose if you had your forces, let's say here, and a pylon here, kind of having a look at these destructible rocks. Granted, it is on low ground, and that could be a factor, but I think, actually, I would maybe take that before this one. I'm not I'm undecided. But looking at the strategic positioning of this terrain, I would say that this, potentially, if you did have your army in this area, may be easy to defend. Actually, no, they're probably both similar to defend, considering that this, if you would have your army here, it would be way in the front of this space, but just a little bit of a gap there. So, that being said, actually, now that I think about it, if you did take this natural and then move on to this expansion, even if you had your army here, defending this initial one, you would be in good stead to take this, no problem at all. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of double expand builds on this map from a Zerg, if they got extremely bold, considering the fact that they could put spine crawlers here and be amazingly defended until obviously somebody thought, let's go around the corner. So yeah, that's that. And no gold bases on this, as I'm slowly finding out. These watchtowers are in an interesting position, and it would be quite interesting to see. And all the bases now that they're releasing have these shrubberies which are like designed precisely for you to go and drop someone's base, or like float a barracks in and make some marines and then run them in. But these, I hate it when they do this with like bases. Like, I don't want a shrubbery in the back of my base. I want to go and cut it down with some Protoss scythes. So yeah, nice area for people to drop there, but I'm not too big a fan of dropping with Protoss, and I've done a significant amount of damage with that probe to that hatchery, so I'm already winning this match. Already winning this match. That sounds horrible. So that's pretty much the look at this map. Everything from this corner onwards is pretty much symmetrical. We do have little avenues here, as said before, with these destructible rocks, which could play a factor if somebody does want to run in, and it's something that you will have to consider if you are expanding to here. So maybe a pylon here will aid you in keeping tabs on that. For Ovies, that's very easy. He can just sit there and be like, "Ooh, look, somebody's breaking down my rocks." So let's move on. In fact, that was the third one, so I shall stop for now, and we shall do the next two tomorrow. What have I been doing? Let me have a look at my ladder. I have been doing a few ladder games, and everyone I end up coming up against is masters, and I keep beating most of them, and it's not promoting me yet. I've been told that you have to use most of your bonus pool before you end up getting promoted, which means I have like 800 points to chew through, or 760 points to chew through, which might take a while, I must admit. So I'm only at 2.3k right now, but you know, I'm playing at a way higher. I'm beating loads of rank Diamond 1 players, as well as Masters League players, so you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So thank you very much for watching this, guys. I know this might have been a tad boring, but I wanted to look at it anyway, and if other people wanted to look at it, then that's all good as well. So thanks very much, guys, and I will see you next time. Oh, I should also briefly add that that final map, that last map, would be fantastic for Colossi harassment due to the fact that there's so many cliffs actually near your opponent's base. You know, with that expansion that goes lower into the ground, that would be absolutely fantastic for Colossi harassment. So once you get playing on them, they're on the EU servers already, so you can actually just type in PTR when you're trying to create a map or make a game, and it will come up with the new maps. So give that a go, and you'll be all good. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you next time.